Caracas, the swinging city of Venezuela. Good climate, fine buildings, wide highways with plenty on them. All in all, a pretty nice place to be for many reasons.
There was a time when Venezuela was called the Switzerland of Latin America, a nation blessed with oil wealth, booming cities, and one of the strongest economies in the world.
Caracas is a good place in which to be young. With senoritas of this caliber in abundance, the young men of the city couldn't agree more. Pop and beat music feature in a big way with the teen set. And naturally enough, so do clothes.
But today, that same country faces one of the worst economic and humanitarian crises of the 21st century. A nation once admired, now broken. This is the story of how Venezuela rose to power and how it fell into chaos.
Queremos comida. A polícia carregou sobre os manifestantes e usou gás lacrimogéneo.
The rise of Venezuela begins with oil. Discovered in massive quantities in the early 20th century, it transformed a rural country into one of the world's largest oil exporters. By the 1950s, Caracas was known as the Paris of South America. Skyscrapers, highways, universities, and a thriving middle class. Money flowed, foreign investors arrived, and life in Venezuela became a symbol of Latin American modernity. Oil built the foundation of the Venezuelan dream, a dream that would one day turn into its greatest curse. But this prosperity came with a dangerous dependency. The government built an entire system around a single resource, oil. State-owned company PDVSA became the beating heart of a nation. When oil prices rose, the country thrived. When they fell, everything collapsed.
200 años después, aquí estamos nosotros, concentrados en esta Caracas bolivariana, para seguirle diciendo no al intervencionismo norteamericano en nuestra tierra.
Instead of building industries, Venezuela imported nearly everything it consumed. Public spending grew uncontrollably, and political corruption thrived on the illusion that oil money would never run out.
Ciudadano Hugo Rafael Chávez Frías, presidente electo de la República de Venezuela, presento a usted el saludo y las congratulaciones del Congreso de la República, en cuyo nombre voy a proceder a tomarle el juramento de ley.
In 1999, a charismatic military officer named Hugo Chaves rose to power, promising a revolution, the Bolivarian Revolution.
Señor comandante Hugo Chávez Frías, ante Dios y ante la patria, ¿jura usted cumplir fielmente los deberes inherentes al cargo de presidente constitucional de Venezuela y cumplir y hacer cumplir la Constitución y las leyes de la República?
Juro delante de Dios, juro delante de la patria, juro delante de mi pueblo que, sobre esta moribunda constitución, haré cumplir, impulsaré las transformaciones democráticas necesarias para que la República Nueva tenga una carta magna adecuada a los nuevos tiempos. Lo juro.
Chavez vowed to put oil wealth in the hands of the poor. During the oil boom of the 2000s, his social programs flourished.
Miren, lo que hoy estamos iniciando es un programa especialmente dirigido a los sectores medios o de medianos ingresos, pues. Este plan lo hemos ideado y lo estamos lanzando para aquellas familias cuyo ingreso esté por encima de 4 salarios mínimos. ¿Ve?
Millions were lifted out of poverty, universities were built, and Venezuela was hailed as a model of social progress. But the miracle was built on fragile ground. The state became more centralized, private industries declined, and as political power concentrated in Chavez's hands, democratic institutions weakened. The seeds of collapse were already planted. When Hugo Chavez died in 2013, his successor, Nicolas Maduro, inherited a system on the edge. A year later, global oil prices crashed, and the entire economy came down with it. Hyperinflation reached unimaginable levels. In 2018, prices rose by more than 1 million %. The national currency became worthless overnight. Supermarkets were empty, hospitals ran out of medicine, and millions of Venezuelans fled the country just to survive.
The power struggle tearing apart their country.
Thousands are hungry, they're desperate. Migrants are showing up seeking help, but not everyone gets to stay, as Local 10's Cody Weddle shows us in his one and only exclusive report.
Well, the conditions in this part of Colombia are essentially desert-like, and despite that, the demand for new space in this tent city far outweighs what the UN can provide.
This is the scene when the UN Refugee Agency announces it will be accepting new residents in its tent city in far northeast Colombia. Dozens gather pleading to be granted a spot. One shouts, "We just want shelter."
More than 7 million Venezuelans have left their homeland since 2015, one of the largest mass migrations in modern history. Families torn apart, cities and neighboring countries overwhelmed by refugees, and a generation forced to rebuild their lives abroad.
I left my brother with my other sister, and I'm having anxiety over whether he's eating well or not. My nephew's my older sister.
Inside Venezuela, poverty deepened. Despite limited economic reforms, the nation remains trapped between sanctions, corruption, and dependence on a single resource that once made it rich. A country that once symbolized progress now struggles just to survive. The story of Venezuela is a warning to the world. No wealth is eternal, and no empire of oil can last forever. A nation that once dreamed of greatness now stands as a monument to excess, corruption, and lost opportunity.